Good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday, perhaps happy Sunday, depending upon where you are on the globe. Today's quick broadcast is in reference to a Maryland judge who was deleted in front of his own home. So prior to me beginning, I would like to present my Fair Use Act disclaimer under Copyright Section 107, which states allowance is made for fair use of copyrighted material for the purposes of commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, education, teaching, and or scholarship. It provides for the legal, non-licensed citation and or incorporation of copyrighted material by others which might be infringing under other circumstances. And next, which is definitely needed, my viewer discretion disclaimer. The following broadcast contains mature themes and situations intended for adults. Viewer discretion is advised. So, as I mentioned earlier, this broadcast, which will not be long, is in reference to a Maryland judge who was deleted in front of his home, and also the dangers of domestic court cases. Now, I'm not sure how many of you saw the trailer, but the trailer was actually video footage of myself serving a legal process. And I've mentioned so many times that cases that involve custody, children, and divorce are those that I do, but I shy away from because they're already sensitive and you do not know the psyche of the individual, albeit a man or a woman, what type of day they may have had at work, what financial situations they may be facing, and the stress of a imminent divorce, separation, or being seen in front of a judge or magistrate when it comes to the possibility of custody, whether it's supervised, shared, or total custody being awarded to one or the other child. So in this particular case, which to me is shocking and completely brazen, especially the area, which is Washington County, not too far from the mountains, not too far from West Virginia, Hagerstown, Maryland. Unfortunately, Circuit Court Judge Andrew Wilkerson, only 52 years old, was found outside of his residence in Hagerstown by deputies who responded to, I'll just say, shots somewhere another 8 p.m. And this was last updated. And again, always do your research. You can find this on NBC News. You can find it on CNN. You can find it on any media outlets. But again, I implore you to do your research. Also, sadly, his wife, meaning the judge, his wife and son were home at the time where he was fatally wounded, according to Sheriff Brian Albert, who spoke at a news conference on Friday. Let me see this message really quickly. Hi there. How are you, Hubert? I've been around. I have the sniffles right now, but I'm hanging in. But thank you so much were coming by. Now, unfortunately, Circuit Judge Wilkerson was transported to a medical center, but later succumbed to his injuries. And the sheriff's office did name a suspect in this heinous crime, Pedro Argote, 49 years old. Yes, Hubert, extremely sad. We are living in times where, and I've said this many, many times before, titles to some mean nothing. You can be a judge, you can be a police officer, you can be an athlete. Any title you can have, if someone wants to do something, they will find out a way to get it done. And I'm quite surprised, and this is just me, that judges and people in that echelon do not have a detail. And I do not believe, and I'm not going to put up this man's address, even though obviously the individual found it. As I said, if people want to find you and do things, no matter how much protection you think you may have, it may not matter because you do not know. You just don't know. And again, the suspect, Pedro Argote, 49 years old, of Frederick, Maryland. And as of the last update, things could have changed. This was just yesterday, was not in custody and has been considered armed and dangerous. The late Judge Wilkerson was the judge overseeing Argote's divorce case that was filed in June. Keep this in mind. His divorce case was filed in June of 2022. According to court documents, again, I implore you to do your research, Wilkerson presided over a hearing in the case Thursday morning that dealt with partial judgment of an absolute divorce, according to court dockets. Argote, who is a suspect, was not present for the hearing, but Sheriff Albert said the attack was in response to custody being granted to the mother of Argote's children. A copy of the partial judgment mentions, and I'll read this part slowly, cruelty of treatment and cites irreconcilable differences between both parties. The court ordered that the wife be granted an absolute divorce from Argote and sole custody. Sole custody of their 4 children, ages 12, 11, 5, and the youngest being 3. Argote cannot visit the children or have any contact with the wife unless initiated by her to use a 2009 Mercedes, the same vehicle that Argote may have been driving during this attack. Also, the court granted the wife sole use and possession of the family home which prohibited Argote from entering that residence. He was also ordered to pay $1,120 a month in child support. According to the judgment, Argote, his wife, and attorneys in the case did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Court records also show Argote's wife filed, and this is very important, Argote's wife filed a domestic violence petition in June of 2022 that resulted in a dismissal less than 2 weeks later. In her petition, the wife wrote, there had been physical abuse against one of their daughters, and she felt unsafe because he would keep a weapon, and she feared he would try and take the children away. She noted that her husband, estranged husband, owned at least two weapons. Additionally, she claims he would harass her through texts and emails, watch her on security cameras, and control her emotionally and financially. Again, these are according to court documents. I am not sure the validity of those. We all know or should know in cases such as this, there are many, many emotions that go. It is unclear why the petition was dismissed. The sheriff's office responded to the residents involving Argote for verbal domestic assaults 2 times within the past few years. Argote is described as 5 feet 7 inches tall and only 130 pounds. But what does height and weight have to do with anything when someone is brandishing a weapon, especially with emotions on full throttle? Other identifiers include black hair and brown eyes, and may be traveling in a silver Mercedes GL 450 with Maryland plates 4E as in Edward, H as in Harry, 0408, according to the sheriff's office. Good morning, and how are you? Welcome. Anyone with any information in reference to Argote's location is asked not to approach him, but to immediately contact and notify law enforcement. Maryland State troopers were deployed Thursday night out of precautionary reasons to protect, again, this is operative here, Maryland State Police troopers were deployed on Thursday night out of precautionary reasons to protect judges who also reside in Washington County, according to a police spokesperson who spoke with NBC News. However, there are no reports at this time any other judges have any threats at this time. Wilkerson, hi there, and thank you so much for coming. Happy Saturday to you. I am doing well. Have a little sniffles, but I'm doing well, and trusting you're doing well as well. Wilkerson was born in Guam in 1971, graduated from Emory University of Law in 1997, and previously worked as assistant county attorney. He became an associate judge in Washington County Circuit Court in January 2020. Wilkerson, the late Judge Wilkerson, was a prominent member of the community, according to neighbors who described him as being down to earth and friendly. On any given day, neighbors said, he would walk out cutting his own lawn or taking walks or jogs through the neighborhood. He was a terrific guy, and this is devastating to the community. What happened is terrifying, unexpected, absolutely unexpected. But when you are in law enforcement, when you're sitting behind the bench, especially when you're presiding over domestic related cases that involve divorce and the potential of having your children, whether it be one or four in this case, awarded to the other half, that can bring on a myriad of emotions. And this is exactly what happened in this case. So now I'm going to present, this is fair use, just a quick snippet from the actual news story. Again, a very, very sad and surprising story coming out of Washington County, which is in Hagerstown, Maryland. My condolences to his family, friends, colleagues, and loved ones. Hopefully everyone will be able to see this.
Releasing crucial clues in the murder of a circuit court judge. The 52-year-old was found murdered outside of his Maryland home last night. Melanie Alnwick has been live on scene all morning long, now there with the very latest. Mel, what do our viewers need to know right now?
Good morning. We have just learned the details of who police are looking for in this murder case. I want to show you right now the photos that were just released by the Washington County Sheriff's Office. They say anyone with information on the location of Pedro Argote, 49 years old, is asked to notify law enforcement immediately. They say he's 5'7", 130 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. We're also told he may be driving a 2009 Mercedes GL 450 with Maryland registration plates 4EH0408. Now, as far as the judge goes, we can tell you that there are a lot of mourning this morning. He's active in his local church. And at Friday morning mass at St. Anne's Church, people prayed for him today.
And for the
So that was the video, according to the news, and images of the suspect, a possible vehicle, and information for those that may reside in the DMV. Again, Circuit Court Judge Wilkerson, who you see pictured, was tragically, fatally wounded in front of his own home after His estranged wife, meaning Pedro Argote, was awarded sole custody of all 4 children. She also was given possession of the home, and he was ordered to pay over $1,000 a month in child support. This is or should be a lesson to everyone to please be cognizant of your surroundings. You do not know the mental state of any individuals, whether it be someone just leaving court, perhaps having a bad day at work or at home. One never knows. And the mere fact that the suspect, Pedro Argote, was able to drive directly to the late Judge Wilkerson's home with no thought, no reservation, and take his life speaks volumes. Everyone, thank you for tuning in, especially those that may catch the replay. Please be safe, be well, be healthier, and never, and I've said this before, take anything for granted. Many of us walk out of our doors, and it doesn't matter what the door is attached to, believing, thinking, praying that we will return the same as we leave. Oftentimes, and this story here illustrates, many of us do not return. So keep that in mind. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, take care.